Welcome back to another episode of Holistic Health is Hot. If you're watching this on YouTube, you see we have a little bit of a new setup. I am going to be talking about and not only talking about, but reading some of my past journal entries. And it's going to be a little bit more casual of a podcast, so I just wanted to switch up the vibe to match that. So, I'm excited to talk about this. I feel like as I was reading through these, it made me, one, realize how far I have come in terms of like body image, body dysmorphia, binge eating, like disordered eating disorder, like all these things. And also warning, this might be triggering for some people because honestly it was triggering for me. And if you're not okay with listening or watching anything about eating disorders, this probably isn't the episode for you, because I just want to talk about what I was really going through and just kind of some thoughts, feelings, and emotions that have come up for me. Welcome to Holistic Health is Hot, where your journey to sculpting your dream body meets holistic health. I'm your host, Ashley Roberts. Here, we're going to chat about mindset hacks that have completely transformed my life and dive deep into nutrition and movement that will help transform yours. We're going to get into the intense connection between mind, body, and soul so you can glow from the inside out. Let's get into it. And remember, holistic health is hot. Okay, so the overall theme of this episode is journaling, and there's a couple different points I want to touch on and just kind of like see what comes up for me and just kind of share my thought process through things. So the first thing I want to talk about is binge eating, my eating disorder, stuff like that. And then I want to talk about manifesting Eric, because I was reading through some old journals and I was like, oh my God, like it's just so crazy how exact my manifestation of him came through. So I want to talk about that. And then I also want to touch on my whole acne journey, because it kind of goes along with weight loss journey. It's almost like another kind of journey in itself that I had to overcome. One thing I want to say too is journaling is so powerful. It's so interesting to go through each of these phases of my life. Like we're starting back in 2019, maybe even 2018, but no, I think 2019 was when I really first started getting into journaling and everything. And it's just crazy to see how, one, it's cool to go back and see how far you've come, but two, life is so up and down, and there is no straight paced journey. There's no straight paced path. It's always going to be up and down. And I think this is a good reminder to me of the journey. And on top of that, it made me realize that I do want to get more into manifesting, my spirituality, connecting with the universe and stuff like that, because I think it is really, really powerful. And some of the words that I was writing, I was like, wow, I just had so much trust in the future and trust with my life. And I want to get back to that, because I think these past years have kind of created some scarcity with certain things in my life. And I think that just kind of being a little bit more spiritual is going to just help me feel like what I'm doing is all meant to be. Everything always happens for a reason. The journey that I am on, I'm here for a reason. And it's not just life is hard, boo-hoo. It's like, okay, this is happening for a reason. What can I learn from this? How can I move forward? And the more I have that perspective, the easier it is for me to just be okay with the ups and downs of life. So I wanted to start off. Okay, we're starting back. I think this is, we're in 2019, but there's one specifically that I wanted to start with. Because what was this, 5 years ago? Like, what the heck? That's so crazy. This is August 13th, 2019. Life has been pretty great lately. I do feel like I have been too obsessed with my phone and the TV. I think that when I dance in the middle of the day, I'm going to try to work at a coffee shop or something. For context, I was on Gold Rush at this point in time. So I would go, and I was working pretty much remote. So I could go and not take dance class, but practice dance in the middle of the day. Anyways, that really, I guess it does kind of pertain to the story, because I was a professional dancer at this point in time. I'm going to try to work at a coffee shop or something to get me out of the house. I feel like I come home and work, but sit on the couch and eat. The binge eating definitely has gotten better. Today was not so great, but I did not throw up, which I am proud of myself for. I want to feel uncomfortable so I don't binge eat. I usually cave and do it anyways. I almost think the binge eating affects my body. It doesn't affect my body as much as it does my mind. It just makes me feel like a crazy person when I eat like that because it makes me feel like I'm not stronger than my mind. And when I first read this the other day, it just like hit me how hard that was for me. And sometimes, like, again, it was 5 years ago, so it's hard to think back to that time when I was in such a horrible place mentally. Like, I was a 49er cheerleader, and obviously there comes with other pressures, having to look a certain way and everything like that, but it was so mentally draining. And sometimes owning a business is really, really hard, and it makes me question why I try so hard to create this business when it's hard. But then I read stuff like that and I'm like, the reason I'm doing this is because I don't want people to feel the way that I felt. I could not focus on anything. Like I said, I literally felt like a crazy person because all I was doing was thinking about food 24/7. I was binging all the time, and it was so mentally exhausting. And I know how hard that is for women like you who, you feel like you have your shit together, you're motivated, you're hardworking, yet for some reason food controls you. And I know I've made other episodes, but I think, again, it just really hit me because I've come so far, and I do not think about food unless I'm hungry, truly. Even when I'm like wanting dessert or whatever, like it used to drive me insane, and I used to get so mad at myself when I craved foods, and it was so mentally exhausting. And again, if you're in this place right now, I just want you to know that it doesn't have to be forever. Like, the reason I'm so passionate about this is because I went through this for years. For 8 years, I struggled with an eating disorder and binge eating. And I used to make myself throw up. I remember I was so good at hiding it that I would make up excuses. So, I think back to this one time where I was at a friend's house and we were making cookies, and I was eating cookie dough and I couldn't stop. I literally couldn't stop, and everyone else was just eating it leisurely. And I was in my head oh my gosh, they probably think I'm a crazy person eating this much food and I can't stop, and just feeling like a crazy person, especially in front of people, is the worst. And I made myself go throw up. And I made this excuse. I was like, I'm just feeling so nauseous, eating raw cookie dough, it's not good for your stomach, blah, 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 all this stuff. And I threw up, made myself throw up, and no one even questioned it. And the thing about disordered eating is it's something that we are shameful of, and that it's something you don't want to talk about because you feel like you're the only person. And again, this is why I like to talk about this and why I want to help and coach people, is because it can feel so lonely. You're like, how does food have this chokehold on me? Why does it have this chokehold on me? It makes no sense. And it again it's never about the food. And I'm not even going into tactical steps because I have other episodes. A couple episodes back, I have how to stop binge eating. But this is more just wanting you to know that you're not alone, because I struggled with this for so long. And again, obviously, being a 49er cheerleader definitely enhanced it at first, but I honestly struggled way more prior to being a 49er cheerleader. Okay, this is 8/6/2019. I've been in a weird mood today, and I think I'm just stressed about my body since my first game is Saturday. This is my first Gold Rush performance. I feel like I'm really struggling to find a balance with eating healthy, working out, being social, and drinking. It seemed so easy when I didn't hang out with other people and worked out twice a day. It was so much more relaxing, which is funny because it's I'm more relaxed when I'm working out twice a day, and that is that all or nothing mindset, where for me, it was so hard. I struggled so hard to not have an all or nothing mindset because I felt like I had to choose this life between being fit, eating healthy, working out, or spending time with friends, eating foods that I liked. I felt like I couldn't have one with the other. And again, this is why I'm so passionate about helping women, because you can have the body of your dreams while eating fun foods and, not working out twice a day, working out a couple times a week, spending time with friends. And so I think, again, this is just such a good reminder to me of how far I have come, because I know what it's like to just feel like there's no hope and you feel like a stranger in your own body, and you, again, like are either all on where you're working out twice a day, doing all the things, or you're all off and you can't, there's no in between. And this is something that I work on a lot with my clients, because I know what it feels like to be in that place of I can have one or the other, dream body or friends, dream body or social life. Which one do you want? And that's just not the case. Like there's a balance that you can find, but it takes time to figure that out. And truthfully, it took me like 8 years to figure it out. 8 years. And again, that's why I became a coach, so I can help you fast track your journey. And so it won't take you 8 years to find that balance. And is it going to take 1 month? No, but it does take trial and error working together at the same time too. And, there are seasons of life. We grow and evolve and things shift all the time. So yeah, I really struggled with an all or nothing mindset though. What's up, guys? I hope you're loving this episode. I wanted to take a quick second to offer you something special for podcast listeners only. If you're someone who is a high achiever or craving discipline and transformation, you're ready to lose weight and leave old habits behind like food guilt, constant bloat, and body negativity, ready to embrace a new identity and become absolutely obsessed with your body in your life, for life, then listen up. Vitality is my one-to-one coaching program where you will get in the best shape of your life for life. You will feel absolute food freedom and feel proud of your food choices, aka no more food guilt. You will feel energized, motivated, and excited to wake up every single morning to do your cute little morning routine. You will feel sexy AF in a bathing suit all year round and have the confidence to sprint to the front of every single photo. Your routines and workouts will light you up and you will radiate confidence and magnetism in every aspect of your life. If you're ready to get in the best shape of your life for life, then DM me the word vitality on Instagram and we can chat about getting started. I'm so excited to work with you. Okay, back to the episode. Okay, there's another one from 2018. And this isn't necessarily about binge eating, but this is about like self-love. It says, I said, even everyone around me makes comments on how I'm so gorgeous and blah, blah, blah. Even though people say it to me, for some reason, I just can't get it in my head. This was just interesting to read for me because I think this has come up a lot in my life where I could never rely on external validation from people to feel beautiful and feel pretty. It always comes down to how you actually feel. And like I said in my journal entry, people would tell me I was pretty all the time and I didn't believe it. I thought people were making it up because they felt bad for me. It's like our brains convince us of crazy stuff if we let it. And it's so interesting. Like I recently kind of went through another phase with this where I didn't feel beautiful. So even though Eric was calling me beautiful all the time and telling me I was gorgeous and cute and all these things, I literally did not believe it because I didn't feel beautiful. And I literally thought, I'm like, oh, you're my boyfriend, you have to say that. It's like, what? No, he doesn't. He doesn't have to tell me that. And so I think the thing that came up for me here was that no amount of external validation can get you to feel and believe something different about yourself, because we decide our own truth. And if I felt like my truth was I didn't feel beautiful, no matter how many people around me told me I was beautiful, could make me actually feel that I was. And so this is something that it's been a work in progress my whole life of trying to validate myself rather than rely on external validation, because external validation doesn't even necessarily work. I think it's about having a balance of internal and external validation. Obviously I want Eric to call me beautiful. Like that makes me feel good, but it only makes me feel good if I truly believe that I'm beautiful and I'm feeling beautiful. And for me to feel beautiful, I have to take care of myself. I have to eat healthy. I have to work out. I have to nourish my body. And, I think kind of going into my acne journey a little bit, that was like kind of the most recent couple years of struggle for me, was my acne and just not feeling beautiful. And like it kind of is a similar thing to when I was overweight and felt uncomfortable in my own skin. It's like a mirror. It's like the same pattern over again. Is I felt like a stranger in my body And, you wake up, you look at your face, it's the first thing you see. And it's the same thing when I was overweight. I would wake up and I would look in the mirror and I'd see my body and be like, who are you? Like, I literally do not recognize you. And when you look in the mirror and don't recognize yourself, you kind of start to go into this deep hole of, I'm not worthy, I'm not beautiful, no one wants to talk to me. And this is my own personal experience, but also, obviously working with over 100 clients, have seen the same things over and over again. But it's just interesting. I talked to my therapist about this, how it was at first, my whole body image with specifically like my body. And then the same thing kind of came around, the same pattern of that I had to work through was feeling comfortable in my own skin, even if I did have some acne or my skin wasn't perfect. So I don't know. It's just interesting. And again, it all comes down to how we feel about ourselves. It doesn't really have anything to do with what we look like on the outside. And yeah, it does come into play, but the main source of us feeling good has to come from ourselves, not this external validation that we think is actually going to change how we feel about ourselves. So I don't know. It's interesting just reading through these. It's just honestly, it's been a trip reading through these. And I just thought it would be interesting to share my thoughts. Oh, this is actually before. Okay, so this is like a couple months before in 2018 still. Okay, on another note, I get so frustrated with myself, aka last night, when I work out twice a day, eat healthy all day, and then go to events or even at home and I eat so unhealthy and just way too much. When I am really hungry in those situations, I just eat whatever is around. And that's not good. I need to always have healthy snacks with me. I need to always think about what is going into my body. Is it going to nourish it? Because trust me, you're going to need all the help you can get with the SEMAWARE program. Okay, this was before I made. This is 2018. Okay, wow, this was before what I even said. So sorry, I'm skipping around. But again, this was before that. And I was still struggling over a year later. Still struggling. I don't know why I wrote upside down. This was again, this is 2020. Okay, again, skipping ahead. I don't know why my journals are out of order. So the first one I read you was in 2019. The last one I just read you was 2018. And this is 2020. So again, the timeline doesn't really matter. What this is about is this is year after year. I was still struggling. Even though I had a good body, I still struggled so hard with body dysmorphia, not knowing what was good for me to eat, trying to do this diet and stuff. So this was, 2020. I've been overthinking the shit out of it and it's driving me crazy. I keep thinking this person eats this way and looks that way, so I'm going to do that. Long story short, it didn't work for me. Eating whole plant-based foods and carbs without being so stuck on it, if I'm getting enough protein, is exactly what I'm going back to. I've been so obsessive with why my body doesn't feel right, and I think that's exactly it. So, again, I was struggling year after year after year to figure out what works for my body, and I would try this diet and then that diet and then that wouldn't work, and it would just make me feel like a crazy person. Again, this is such a good reminder of why I became a coach, is because the mental energy I could have saved if I would have reached out and found someone to help me would have saved me years and years. 8 years I struggled with this. And I think I started to, this was all through college. So in 2013, when I went to college, that's when all my disordered eating behaviors started, maybe 2014. And we're in 2020. That's such a long time. And yeah, I feel sad that I didn't reach out for help, and I didn't know though. I really thought I was the only one that was struggling. I had no idea that anyone else struggled with these food thoughts and trying these different diets. Because everyone from the outside acts like they have their shit together and everything's good and we're all perfect and blah, blah, blah. And that is just not the case. We all are going through our own struggles. And that's why I always am trying to be so nice to every single person I meet. Even if someone's rude to me or bitchy to me, I take it as they're probably going through something that I don't understand. And their reaction was not because of me. It was because of something they're going through. And we're all fighting our own inner battles. So yeah, again, And there you can see kind of my thought process, like that we started off 2018, 2019, 2020. Like I was struggling so hard, even though I did have a good body at that point, because I lost 20 pounds when I was in 2017. That's when I lost weight. And even post losing weight, I still struggled so hard with body image, binge eating, my relationship with food, like what way to eat, what foods to eat. Like I overthought everything. I was obsessive and I didn't know how to find balance. And so that's why with my program Vitality, I'm always making sure we have to take it step by step and make sure your relationship with food is on lock. You're finding your balance, because again, you can get to your goal weight, but you have to be able to sustain that at the same time, and you don't want to be miserable. So I had lost weight in a not healthy way, and by doing so, it caused me all these obsessive thoughts and overthinking, and I still was feeling like a crazy person, even though I had the body that I wanted. And so that's why I always like to take that first step to make sure we're in a good place with food. You're finding your balance. You're not obsessing over food before we kind of really even focus on getting to your dream body. And I know that's not what you want to hear, but sometimes you have to take it step by step, or else you'll be like me, where I had the body that I wanted, but I was still being a psycho in my head and couldn't stop thinking about food 24/7. Okay? So it's important to take it step by step. Let's see. Okay, I think that's all I want to talk about with like body image and stuff, but okay, this is actually insane. I think this was 2020, and we're moving off from like relationship with food. We're talking about how I manifested Eric in journaling. And before I met Eric, I was in a relationship that I think he just didn't like me. He liked the idea of me, honestly. And I'm not going to talk about that relationship at all, but it's just, I was going through this period of time where I was talking to my therapist about like attributes that I wanted in a relationship. And if you know Eric and you're listening to this, I guess you don't know the ins and outs of our relationship, but this is Eric. It says attributes I want in a relationship. And I don't know, maybe to you this maybe seems like the bare minimum, but to me, like this was everything I ever could have wanted because of the past relationship that I was in. But anyways, attributes I want in a relationship: says I love you a lot, makes me feel beautiful, wants to spend time with me, wants to live with me, likes to spend time with my family, likes and wants to travel, can communicate when something is wrong, comforts me when I'm upset, surprises me once in a while with coffee or flowers, likes to go on adventures like beach, hike, boating, snowboarding, puts me first above all. And this is literally me and Eric's relationship. Like, he is the most selfless, kind, caring human I have ever met, and he cares so much about me, and he cares so much about my feelings. And like, I just read this to him, and I don't know, it's just crazy. Like, when you want something, you have to put it out into the world. And I think a lot of times in relationships, it's, you know, I'm not saying go break up with your boyfriend if he isn't everything that you want. There is things that you can learn and grow and change, but this really helped me put into words who I wanted, and I attracted him literally to a T. I'm trying to think. Okay, this was 2021. So what date is that? Yeah, I was actually when I was like going through a breakup, and I was like reminding myself of like what I deserved in a relationship. So I think that was very end of 2020. Honestly, reading these journal entries too, I'm like, there are so many ups and downs in life. It's insane. Like, I read one day and I was like, I'm so happy, I love life. And then the next day I'm like, oh my God, I'm so anxious. And I'm like, whoa. Whoa, Ashley, I am an emotional roller coaster. I'm a very sensitive person. So, you know, seeing these ups and downs just like, you know, clarified exactly what I already knew. But okay, this is another kind of like manifestation. In 1 year, and again, I'm trying to look at the exact date. Okay, now we're at the end of 2021. So it's like a year later. Yeah, so this is like, end of 2021. And I met Eric end of 2021. Like December of 2021. Yeah. In 1 year, I see myself living with my boyfriend, happy as can be in a new environment. I own my own business and it's thriving. I have 40 clients and I'm about to hire an assistant coach. I'm in an amazing mental headspace. I prioritize things that make me happy. I snowboard when I want. I go boating when I want. I have an amazing group of friends. My clients love me. I'm so happy. Okay, and these are very personal too, so don't come at me with the way I write or anything like that. It's just so crazy how everything happened because I wrote in 1 year, but 6 months later, I had quit my corporate job. I obviously was dating Eric. I think he was about to move in. Maybe he did. Yeah, because he moved in like 6 months. Yeah. So within 6 months, I had all of this. 6 months. From having like, I think I maybe had like 2 clients to having like 40-ish clients, living with my boyfriend, quitting my corporate job that I wanted to quit for like years. It's crazy. So again, it's like one of those things where you have to put things out into the universe if you actually want them. Okay, what year is this? Sorry, I'm literally going out of order, but oh my God. Okay, so this probably was right after that. I'm like embarrassed to read this, honestly. So this is before, me and Eric went on our first date. This is the timeline. December, we started talking, but didn't actually go on our first date until January, I think. For some reason, I'm so nervous. I used to think he was so hot in high school. Like, oh my God, like what, Ashley? I feel like, and if you don't know, Eric went to the opposite high school of me. So he went to Petaluma and I went to Casa. I didn't even talk to him in high school. It was like, I knew who he was because he was like this hot jock. Okay. Oh my God. This is so hard to read. I feel like maybe I'm nervous because he's actually a good potential candidate that I would actually want to date. I know I haven't even hung out with him, so I have no clue, but it's just a thought in the back of my mind. Like, what? But I've never actually, I'm skipping a few parts, but I've never actually talked to someone that asked me to go for a walk or work out, because when we were talking about going on like a date, he was like, oh, maybe we could go for a walk or something. And I was like, what? Like, usually guys are like, let's go get a drink. And he was like, no, like, let's go for a walk or work out. I was like, oh my God, what? Anyways, as you can see, that worked out quite well. And we're obviously living together. Like, he's amazing. And I really do feel like I manifested it. And I think it's all about like, again, putting it out into the world. And I don't think I would have clarity on what I wanted in terms of like my whole future, in terms of like my body, my business, my boyfriend, like my future at all, if I wasn't able to journal and write out my feelings. Because, and again, this has been eye-opening for me because I haven't been journaling lately, and I haven't been manifesting. I haven't been doing these things that I know works for my life and makes me so happy and makes me feel so secure and so safe and just all knowing of what my future is going to be like. And I really think that, again, this was eye-opening, that I want to journal more, and it's a really, really great outlet. I feel like people think to journal you have to like, oh, it's going to be like this whole big thing and like it's going to suck and it's going to take me 30 minutes. And it's like, you don't have to set expectations. Like, if you have something going on in your brain and you need to get it out, you can write 1 sentence and then move on with your life, or you can write 2 pages, whatever it may be. I don't typically write more than 10 minutes. That's even long. I probably write only like 5 minutes. All of those journal entries, like 1 to 2 pages. I want to get back into manifesting. I want to get, like, that's how I have the future that I have. The business, the boyfriend, the dog, the house, the car, the traveling to Tahoe, the traveling to Hawaii. Like, all of that are like actual manifestations that have come true. So this is your sign to start journaling, manifesting stuff at the same time, but also, journaling out your feelings. It's such an amazing outlet. And it's also fun to go back and reread and see how far you've come. Because truly, I am so proud of myself for not giving up. Maybe I would have still had this body if I wouldn't have healed my relationship with food. Maybe I wouldn't have, though, because at some point my willpower would have given out and I probably would have gained all the weight back if I didn't actually take the time to focus on healing my relationship with food, being in a good headspace, focusing on my mindset. It truly is life-changing. So yeah, I know that this was kind of all over the place, but I just was reading through those and I was like, I need to share my thoughts on this just so people realize, like, I know I talk about, I struggled with it for 8 years or whatever, and I struggled year after year after year, but I thought maybe hearing those words would make you understand truly that I am not making that up, and I don't need to convince anything to anyone, but like, I was in a dark place and I found my way out of it. And that's why I'm so passionate about helping women do the same thing, because I know what it feels like. And I'm not going to be a manifestation coach or anything like that, but like, if you want to manifest your soulmate, apparently I'm a professional at that. So hit me up. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not a manifestation coach. I'm a holistic health coach. And so, yeah, I think I just wanted to share my thoughts around that and kind of brain dump instead of a journal entry. That's what I call a journal entry when I'm like, just want to get stuff out of my brain. Instead of a brain dump on journal entry, I thought I would just share it with the world, I don't know if that's healthy, but we're going for it. But thank you so much for listening to this episode of Holistic Health is Hot. I hope you enjoyed it, and I would absolutely love it if you rate, reviewed, subscribed. On Apple Podcasts, you can write a review, and if you do, screenshot, send it to me, and I'll get you a little prize. And I really want to share my mission with the world by helping women who struggle with, body image, relationship with food, getting in the best shape of their life for life. I want to help you. I want to fast track your journey because I know what it feels like, as you can tell by listening to this episode. So thank you so much for being here, and I'll catch you on the next one.